This is Seth from BJJGearJunkie.com. Today with another gear review. As usual, we have a gi review. Been trying to mix it up a little bit and throw some other stuff that's not gis out there, I swear. But this particular model is the Insignia Gi by Ronin Brand. Okay, relatively unknown brand. They're starting to make a real big push. You know, they have their samurai model coming out. I think that one looks pretty promising as well. Hopefully I get to review that one. I've had this one for a while, okay, so I've really put it through its paces, so far it's held up pretty good, okay. I do have some modifications that I would like to see, but most of it is just my personal preference and doesn't really have a lot to do with the functionality of the gi, okay. So let's jump right into the review. Let's talk about the top here real quick, okay? So we'll go fit, durability, and then if we have time, we'll talk about the pants, and if we have time, we'll come back and talk about the cool factor, okay? So right off the bat, let's talk about the fit. I normally wear an A1. I weigh about 165 pounds right now, and I'm 5'7". I do have really short, stumpy T-Rex arms, okay, and a lot of gis give me issues with the sleeve length. I normally wear an A1, like I said in previous reviews. This one I got in an A2, okay. I think probably an A1 would have been okay for me because it is a little bit long in the sleeves, and the pants are a tiny bit long, but not bad. So I think if I went an A1, it probably would have been okay. Didn't have like obscene amounts of shrink when I washed it. I do not dry it, I always hang dry it, and oftentimes I wash in cold too. So the color stayed nice and blue. I did do color lock with the white vinegar before washing the first time, and I really think that helps. So the length of the skirt fits me really good, and the jacket closes really nice. So as usual, the sleeves are just a tiny bit long for me. But again, that's probably just my body type. I would say that 95% of people are in between sizes. So if you're one of those people that are not in between sizes, you're really lucky. So, all right, so let's talk about the durability a little bit and the collar. The collar is nice and thick, but it doesn't have like the rubber insert, so it's actually not super stiff, okay? But it is really comfortable, all right? So it's kind of a trade-off. Would I like to see the collar stiffer? Probably, but it's not a huge issue because it is really thick, okay? If it was thin and this squishy, I would have issues with it, but it's not. It's, you know, it's comparable to some of the thicker collars, so not really an issue. Let's open it up here and take a peek at the inside. As you can see, it does have some seam tape covering some stuff up. In places, this seam tape can be scratchy, so maybe in the future they could either do away with the seam tape or just maybe address some of the scratchiness. I wear a rash guard under my gis, so I don't notice really any of this in here, so it doesn't really bother me that much. When I run my fingers over it, I go, hey, yeah, that is kind of scratchy. So you might not even notice it at all. Down in the corner pieces, nice reinforcements here. The bottom looks very well reinforced, and I did not have any loose threads throughout the washing and the testing process, so everything so far is held up decent on this, okay? So for durability, you know, it's doing good. Again, here's that seam tape. It is a little scratchy, but it's on the outside of the gi, so it doesn't really bother me, okay? This is probably the only place where the seam tape does bother me, and it is on the inside here. So if the owner wants to keep the seam tape in and, you know, kind of keep it in the design, maybe just take it out of here and leave it everywhere else, and then I really wouldn't have an issue with it. So the weave on this is a lighter weave. It's soft and it's really comfortable, but some people prefer it that way. I tend to like it a little bit stiffer so that it's harder for people to hold on to. But for everyday training and stuff like that, this is a very comfortable gi, and I am pleased with how it fits me overall. So let's talk about the pants real quick. Actually, no, let's look at the back. Forgot. So again, You have the seam tape on the bottom there, no seam up the back, and plenty of room for real estate if you desire to put a patch on. Alright, so pants. The pants are okay. One thing I did kind of notice is they're not baggy, but they are kind of deep here. So I tend to wear them a little higher up on my hips, just so that they aren't baggy, but it's not really an issue, it's just an observation, okay? So they didn't go with the bungee cord, they went with the fabric, which is okay. Again, that's a personal preference thing. Some people think the bungee cords don't stay tied. I personally, when they do this type of material, I always fear that it gets really stuck in there and it's hard to stretch out after a wash. So I think in the future, maybe if they added a couple more of the loops, they only have a 2-loop here. If they extend it out over a 6, I think that would be an improvement. We have the seam tape running down there, it's decorative, and the knees are reinforced pretty well. So let's take a look at the cuff. The cuff is pretty decent there, not bad, can't complain. Again, this seam tape does come on the inside, so you do kind of feel it on your ankles every once in a while, and I don't know, it might bother some people. I'm usually too busy rolling to notice, and there's that, okay? So, let's talk about the summary here real quick, and then we'll get into the cool factor. So overall, this is definitely a decent gi, especially if you're going to be training. I didn't have really any durability issues, and I believe it is kind of on the cheaper end, maybe like 130-ish, I think, for this model. So if you're kind of looking for that mid-level gi, it does stack up fairly well. There are some improvements that I think can be made to make it an even more solid choice for that kind of bracket, but they're kind of personal preference for me, so it kind of comes down to just what the buyer is looking for. I would say the cool factor in this gi is probably the simplicity of the design. You know, you have your patch on either side. I'll get close-ups, don't worry, I'll roll them into the footage for you guys. So they have patch on each sleeve, and other than that, it's relatively plain. It does have the trim along there, and I think if the trim wasn't scratchy, then I'd have absolutely no issues with it. I think it would look great. So there you have it, guys. This is the Insignia gi by Ronin. Stay tuned. Keep an eye out on this brand, and you know, I think they have good things coming. I believe they had some. I think the samurai gi that's coming out is actually designed by Mirkatsu. So. Or he had some part in it or something. So definitely check that out, and make sure you check out our Facebook page because we do tons of giveaways, gis, rash guards, everything you can imagine over there. So go over and check that out, and thank you very much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos.